Can I just ask you, as a business, trying to run a business as you do, how frustrated are you at the moment?
I mean, particularly when you have things like mandatory hotel quarantine in Ireland, when it's like for public health reasons, it just simply doesn't work. You can't have a quarantine. I don't know, many times we have to go through this. We ran through this charade last summer as well, whereby it was Northern Ireland, only Northern Ireland then. We have an open border with Northern Ireland. And now we have the European Union as a common travel area. So you can't quarantine against people coming from France, Italy and Belgium, because they'll simply just go to Germany, Sweden and Holland and fly anyway. So it sounds great for the Minister for Health to say that he's introduced this. But you can't do it for public health reasons in a common travel area. It is a stunt. And unfortunately, it's an expensive stunt for Ireland, because what will happen then is that people won't book on those routes. We won't fly them. And that connectivity will go from Ireland. And it's for no public health reason whatsoever. If you want to do it from India or somewhere that's got a variant that doesn't have, where we don't have a common travel area, then you can enforce that. But we're the laughing stock of Europe here at the moment. Whereby the idea that we are able to quarantine people coming from France or Italy and discommoding Irish citizens, Italian citizens going about their business for no good reason other than as a distraction. It is simply an outrage.
What is the impact on the ground on this, Eddie, in terms of, the way you're thinking now? Is the summer lost in terms of us going to European destinations?
It's not, because it can easily be reversed. Because if you look at, for example, the UK, which are outside the European Union, they have no mandatory hotel quarantine with any European country at the moment. Okay, so they haven't announced what they're going to do yet until May 17th, and we still have time to do that. But because if you look what's going to happen, so that's the UK. Let's look at what's going to happen in Europe. In Europe, what will happen is, because they've got land alternatives to get to go on their holidays by road or by rail, and you have this sort of growing critical mass of vaccinations and pent-up demand, it will go, right, okay, like there will be travelling within Europe this summer. It's an absolute certainty. Okay, that's what's going to happen. The UK are going to do it in some form or other. And we, as usual, we did exactly the same thing last summer. We're going to be left behind, because what happens is that when health puts lists, we had the joke last year of the green list. Once they put things on the list, they can't take them off. And we're going to lose. And if they don't do something now, they're going to lose this summer. And the tragic thing about this is, for those people who are listening, it does nothing for public health in a common travel area, because people can get around it. And that's what they will continue to do.
Okay, right. What about then, and I'm going to start with this test, because let's get this out of the way. Please, can you try and get a reply from Eddie Wilson regarding people who booked flights pre-June 20? People paid set charge fees plus price difference to move from summer 20 to summer 21. And now, if we are still advised by government not to travel in May, June and need to change again, we are still being charged set change fees plus fare difference. Ryanair's ads mentioning free changes is only for bookings made after June 2020.
That's correct.
So lots of people are being hit on the double.
Unfortunately, what happens here is, when you've got a government that can't make up its mind what it's going to do in terms of imposing these travel restrictions, there are going to be exceptions to this. But anyone who is booking at the moment, any bookings up until June 30th this year, people can make those changes. They can make those changes for free.
But Eddie, just to finish out that text. It says,
but I'm not going. Yeah, but I'm not going to underwrite the incompetence of this government. I mean, what they're doing.
So you're not going to. That was
no, because no. Sorry, just so it's clear to people, they're for bookings that were last year. These are for any new bookings. People can make those changes. But you look at what the government are making exceptions for, and we are laughable on this. You know that you can, if you're a member of CUSPOR and you've got CUSPOR accreditation, which the government have never shown us, that I've got to tell a gate agent in Rome that if somebody pitches up with a CUSPOR card that they're allowed on, even though there's a mandatory hotel quarantine, we look like a bunch of incompetence, I can tell you, as a country. And the government can make exceptions for that. The government, if they wanted to cancel flights and restrict people, then they should be compensating passengers and not pushing it back on the airlines. And what you have now is that what's now going to happen is, while we were prepared to fly airplanes around at the start of this crisis with very few passengers, we've returned to 70% load factors. And last Friday, for example, while the Minister for Health was out pontificating, saying that airlines weren't doing their job, our people offloaded the last 9 passengers on a flight from Paris and flew the plane empty home. And that's what we're doing. We're doing our job, but we're not going to fly around empty aircraft for some PR stunt for the health department that does nothing for public health in this country. Yes, you can impose a mandatory hotel quarantine on countries outside the European Union, but anyone with intercert geography can tell you that if you can't fly home from Brussels, you get on the train and an hour down the road you can come home from Amsterdam. What kind of nonsense is that?